Hello and welcome to today's session of live coding with me. I'm very happy that you're with me. Today we want to try out to code a little bit with Junie and especially IntelliJ AI. So in my day job, I work a lot, of course, with Java, and for that I mainly use IntelliJ AI. It used to be Eclipse, but a couple of years ago, we actually, as a company, all switched to IntelliJ AI just because one after another, we were basically, we had the experience that IntelliJ AI was much more responsive and overall had the better user experience. That's why we switched one after another. And of course, now with AI agents, I started out with Visual Studio Code because GitHub Copilot was very nicely integrated in Visual Studio. But IntelliJ AI actually has a similar system, which is Junie. They also implemented a lot of different agents as well, so you can use Claude or GitHub Copilot in IntelliJ AI as well. But the native system is Junie, and that's what we're trying to experiment with today. And for that, I have with me Anton Arhipov. Arhipov. Yeah, I hope I got that right.
You did.
So,
hello.
Thank you.
Hi
Anton. Thank you so much for being here. So,
my pleasure.
Anton, you are pretty experienced with Java and with Kotlin. You are a developer advocate at JetBrains, have been a Java champion since 2014, right?
I am, yes.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a long time.
It feels like yesterday.
Because Java is still so young. It feels so young, right?
It is.
Okay, and you spent more than a decade developing developer tools, basically, right?
Now, as I think of it, it's actually more than 15 years, but yeah.
15 years.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And everybody knows you as a frequent speaker at conferences and a lot of live sessions on YouTube or any other platform, right?
Some people know me. Yes, I'm a micro celebrity.
Very nice. But what I didn't know is you're also a kind of a DJ in your spare time, right?
Not really. I'm curious about music, curious about what you can do with technical instruments like and the protocols like MIDI. In this example, I think a former colleague of mine who is also a Java champion here at Bivin, who is a developer of Rife framework and some other open source projects. He's like an inspiration for me in this regards. He developed a lot of interesting apps, creative apps, and now he works for Moog, where he develops the synthesizers. And I was always like looking from the side, and it's so cool. Like pity I cannot do that. And when we were all at home during the COVID time, I had some spare time to start actually learning about music. A little bit. I wouldn't say that I'm professional musician now, but now I understand a thing or two, and it kind of caught my creativity. You would say, like, inspired me for this creativity to play around with something. Not that programming shouldn't be always about databases, web applications, data, and so on. Sometimes you can develop something fun for yourself, and that's my area of creativity.
Yeah, and that has gotten so much more easier with AI, I think, and that actually inspired me to do a lot more coding in my free time because you can actually do stuff you really want to see.
Same, exactly same. Right.
Wonderful. So that's what we will do today. I already announced that in the description and stuff, that we will try to create some MIDI visualization tool in JavaFX with IntelliJ and Junie.
Yeah, that's a interesting topic. Like when you asked me to join for the stream, I thought like, why wouldn't I submit or suggest something fun?
Right. Yes.
But then I forgot that actually Frank Del Porte did a talk last year about the very same topic. He presented with his son playing on the stage on MIDI
Yeah.
piano, and he has developed the
wow.
application called what was it called? Like it was Melody Matrix. So it is developed in Java with JavaFX, handles MIDI input, but probably doesn't handle the playback. So you probably don't play the MIDI files with that. So what we could do today is, well, ideally, we probably could develop a patch to his application, but let's do something simpler
Yeah.
and like just to see if we can play the MIDI files maybe.
Yeah, I think that's enough for starters.
Right.
Cool. So the idea would be that because you already prepared for this, we could take a look at your already finished application to see where we want to come out of today at the session. And then after that, we can actually start from scratch on my machine and yeah, see how that goes.
Let's do it.
Yeah, all right. So you're already sharing your screen?
Yes, yes, you can bring it up.
Stage. Wonderful.
Yeah. So the announcement you have made, there was this description what to expect, and what I did, I put this description like the promise of what we want to develop into a markdown file. This is what we do today, right? We write markdown files, and I thought, okay, every bullet point here is like a feature actually. So it needs to handle the MIDI files, maybe MIDI signals, animate something, and it's very vague. So the description is very vague if we think of it from the developer's point of view. So for every of those bullet points, you would have like million of clarifying questions. How would you like to implement it? Like what?
Yeah.
What kind of visualizations? Should it be full screen or small window? Should it, I don't know, what colors should it have, and so on. And then I decided I actually have my own workflow for working with agents, and it's very agnostic to any agent, any framework, any IDE, whatever. And I have refined it into, or actually packaged it into agent skills. And today it's pretty much a standard. If you have an agent, it will handle or will have the support for agent skills. So does the Junie, so that does the Cloud Code or Codex or whatever else. In IntelliJ, we have a way to bring in the skills. So in the AI Assistant settings, if I go to the Skills tab, you can see the list of skills that are already in my project right here, right? So the criteria execute, those are the skills that are installed, and there are some more available skills. And the question is, like, the smart developer would ask, where all those skills are coming from? And the skills are coming from the external registries. And by default, we only have this JetBrains skills registry where we have like, I don't know, people are submitting, companies are submitting their skills there, and there's so many of them. It's just it's nice exploring, but if you bring this registry in, it's gonna have like 300 different agent skills, and it's hard to find something, at least for me. So I would rather build something on my own or import something that, I don't know, opinion leaders are building. So Matt has a very nice collection of skills. Like I would say they're genius. Like there's this grill me skill that is that consists of 4 sentences, and it squeezes so much of the LLM, like it's amazing.
All right.
But anyways, I have installed some of my own skills. They are on GitHub, as you can see, github.com, Anton Arhipov agent skills.
Mhm.
So, and I have installed some of them. And the skills I have installed help me with the steps to refine this vague proposal that I have in the Markdown file to clarify what exactly do I want to build, the acceptance criteria, the technological limitations, constraints, the plan, and the
Yeah.
execution.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
when I developed it, let me run this application first so that people could see what I got out of it. It's the thing I developed is basically like a very small window, JavaFX. It can play files. It can actually plug in a MIDI device and discover it because Java actually has integration with MIDI. So might be surprising to some people, but it's built in. So we
Yeah.
don't really need libraries for that. We need libraries for handling the signals and squeezing out something out of them in the real time. But the interface is there. And it's very simple. There are, I think, just 4 or 5 interfaces. And that's it, like for the input and for the output as well.
All right.
But the interesting bit is if I play some MIDI file. I have generated the MIDI files with Claude Desktop, and it's
All
pretty
right.
nice. So if I start playing, I hope the sound will come across.
Mhm. Yes, it does.
Nice. So so there is that, right?
Yes.
What elements do we have here? We have this sine wave
Mhm.
flipping and animating. We have notes that are coming from the MIDI file. So whenever a MIDI note, MIDI signal comes in, we register it and we do something with it. The program, I mean the program sends the MIDI note into the synthesizer subsystem. So there is a basic synthesizer in Java as well that can play some default things. So currently the sounds you have heard are coming from the default synthesizer. But if I open this MIDI file, I can open it in any of the digital audio workbench editor, commercial one, free one, and
Yep.
reassign the instruments and play something else. Instead of piano, I could play violin, but
Mhm.
for the same notes, right? So there's that. But the process I was using for building this application was using those skills, agent skills. And the very first step was to run this specification skill with the agent. I'm not going to run it right now. It's just I'm going to explain what happened. Um, so I just submitted this prompt. Analyze the proposal using the spec skill. And the spec skill actually specifies everything else, what it should do. So it's basically like a prompt. And my input in the AI chat was just a shortcut for invoking this prompt.
Yeah.
But the
So
effect of this, yeah.
I got a question about that structure. So you have these skills in dot agents skills.
Yep.
So I am accustomed to that. For example, Claude has every skill in .claude skills subfolder. So if you're saying in IntelliJ you are installing a skill, what does that mean? It puts it in .agents skill?
Very good question. So whenever you install something, you actually install it for the agent that you
Yes.
are
All
using.
right.
So you can like Codex and Junie are using can discover .agents directory. So we
All right.
decided that for Junie we are just going to install it to .agents. So if you are using Junie and Codex interchangeably, you won't duplicate the files. But for Claude Agent, if I press this button right here, you will see that I need the okay, Claude.
Yeah.
We just
Okay.
installed it right here.
Got
It's just like the state of the things today, right? Everybody is coming.
Yeah.
Naming is hard, like, and agreeing on the names is hard. But I like that there is at least a trend that agents are converging to in naming, that we do have this .agents directory. We do have agents.md standard, not a very official one, but we do have that. And well, Claude is just special. They are ahead of everyone, and they don't want to look at anyone. And of course, they have freedom to do that. There is no obligation. But we, as an integration platform, we have to handle all that and account for those cases. So in the beginning, you said that Junie is the default agent. Not really. So we treat all agents as equal. So the AI chat that you can see on my screen right now, you can just go and select whatever agent you want. It can be Claude Agent, it can be Codex, it can be Copilot, Junie, Mistral, whatever else, and you can install any of them from the ACP registry. And we do provide all the tools via MCP, so they propagate through the ACP protocol into those ACP compatible agents. ACP stands for Agent Client Protocol. So Junie, yes, it's developed by JetBrains, but we don't treat it as a native agent. We treat it as another agent. And the reason is that if you are building the platform for the agents, we actually need to know how the agents are built, and therefore we are building our own one as well. So, but we wouldn't rather say that, oh, you have to use Junie. No, it's not like that. You can use any agent on IntelliJ.
But you have this extra icon on the right, on the bottom.
Yes. You mean this one? So what happened is that IntelliJ is one big team, but Junie is another small team, and for a small team, developing something new is much easier if they are standalone, if they have their own development cycle, if they experiment on their own. And therefore, they were experimenting and building their own UI for the agent. This UI is, you can think of it as a deprecated UI. Basically, like if you go to plugin marketplace today, you can also find Windsurf. You can also find some other agents, Kilo, probably something else, Continue Dev. There's like tons of them, and they do they do come with their own UI. But this development started like 2 years ago, and we didn't have ACP. We didn't have this good API from the platform to provide to the plugin developers who want to develop the agentic plugins. Now we do have that. It took time to actually adjust the platform for all this new stuff. But Junie plugin is not just the UI. It also integrates with the tooling. So when you run Junie from the command line, let's say we can start it from here. And by the way, when I'm working in the terminal, I like to move it into the editor, so I have like a something that looks like ID, but it actually is a terminal. So if I run Junie from the terminal, let's see, there is an action. So it actually then will look like any of the, okay, let's skip this. Any of the terminal agents like Claude Code, Gemini or Gemini or something else. And then there is this ID command that will manage the integration, and it automatically discovers that, hey, the process is already running. We can attach to that and get the intelligence from that platform. But how does it know that it can get the intelligence from the platform? This little plugin is not just the UI, it also the connectivity endpoint, kind of. And it can provide the special tools that the agent, Junie in this case, needs to manage its work or do something more reliably, so to say, not just with the text, right?
And what is the purpose of this connectivity? For example, to highlight some lines or to open up some class stuff like that, or
for instance, in the like the searching for symbols. So we do have like a very interesting blog post about this. Let me see. We have. I think it was search. Yeah. So we gave agents the ID native search tools, and it got faster and cheaper. So instead of doing grep or something like that and searching for something in the project without the understanding the semantics of it, so in the ID you can do something like find usages or navigate to some symbol. And this is backed by a very powerful engine inside the ID that can be reused for the agents, and this is what we are providing as a platform.
Okay, so it does what I thought was it improves the interactivity between is a user of the IDE and the actual CLI agent, but it actually improves just the capability of the CLI agent, so it works more efficiently. Or
Yes,
it can.
yes, exactly. It can get better context. So context is the king here, right? We want to feed the correct information and not too much of it as well, because then the context window is this most precious resource that we have, and we need to take care of that.
Right.
So that's the story. Like that's the story with Junie, but Junie is just another nice agent. It definitely works pretty nicely. And the difference between, like, some people would ask, hey, is it better than Claude Code, or is it better than Codex? Or, like, they are different and they are similar.
Of course.
But depends what you mean by better, right? So for many people, better means cheaper. And so if you're a user of Claude Code, have you experienced any outages recently? What is the uptime of the Anthropic APIs? Is it still 2 nines at least?
I don't know, but I definitely have some problems. But I think it stems from that I only have a pro subscription, and I think that's much too low for Anthropic.
So one of the benefits I see in Junie is that you can swap out the models. And this is something that vendor-specific agents are not really providing out of the box that easily. So if you start the default Claude code session, you only have Claude models, right? And I find Gemini 3.5 Flash model very good for code generation, given that you have a good plan. So the application I have just shown, demonstrated, the playing the MIDI notes and animating stuff. I made a plan, like I refined this vague input in my proposal.md into more detailed specification, so to say, using the top model, something like Claude Opus 4.8 probably. But then when I had all this planned and I had specified all the details, how I want this application to look like, how I want it to be written, then I can, switch back into the cheaper model. You can see it's actually, well, noticeably cheaper. $9 versus 25, so it's like 2.5 times cheaper. And get a good result out of that. And that's my way of working. And it's actually faster and it's not so creative. So you actually want sometimes the agent to do exactly what you told it to do without any extra creativity, right?
Yeah.
I'm fine with this creativity on the first stages when I don't know what I'm actually planning to do. So
Yeah.
it helps me. But later on, I wanted to follow what I told it to do.
But I mean, every agent, or almost on every agent, you can select a model. But you're right in that regard that it's mostly their stuff. So Claude only lets you select Claude models. Gemini or Anti-Gravity only let you select Google models. But Copilot, they have different models from different vendors.
Yeah,
but,
it wouldn't be fair that to say that Junie is the only one. Of course, we have Open Code, for instance. They provide
right. Yeah.
a ton of different models,
Everything.
and so actually figuring out what agent is better for what, I don't know. Like maybe it is the easiest, just easiest to say that the best agent is the one that I understand how to work with and can get good results for the cheaper price.
Yeah.
So this is just like this, but for this you need to experiment a lot. You actually have to reserve some budget to do some token maxing and then token optimizing, and see what works for you, what doesn't work for you. So of course there are benchmarks, but the benchmarks is just I don't know, it's just the information, just guiding information. It probably will not tell you exactly what it will be like on your project, on your style of working with those agents, and so on. So whatever capabilities you need for those agents, just select one or two, compare them, which one works best for you, and yeah, develop the intuition and just go. It's really hard to follow any guidelines on which one is better and which one is cheaper, because it's changing so much every time.
Exactly. And if there is a new feature in some agent, all the other agents will adapt it pretty fast as well. So it seems like it does less and less matter what kind of agent you're using. I mean, the model, I think, is still a very interesting decision, but the agent itself, they basically more or less all have the same capability.
Right. Oh, there are some interesting capabilities, like some agents allow you to do remote control. So for instance, in Junie, we do have this interesting thing called remote. So it will start when I already started this session. I'm doing something, but I want to go away from the computer, and I need to confirm sometimes what is the agent doing. Will it execute some shell command? Then if I go away, then I don't have the control, and I don't want to carry the laptop with me all the time. So this remote session gives me this ability to generate the start remote session. I don't know if it will, because I don't have any context here yet, so it's empty context. Let's see, did it start the browser, or it's waiting for the browser? Yeah, or maybe it's just not starting. But anyways, the idea is that you start the remote session, it actually populates your session into that remote machine that tunnels the commands still into your local agent, and you open it on your phone, and you go away from the keyboard, and whenever the agent needs some kind of a confirmation, then you can just tap and say, hey, proceed, or type something, and it will do things on your machine locally while you're somewhere in the garden or at the beach, maybe without the laptop.
Yeah. But you still have to keep the laptop open, right?
Yes. But you don't have to carry it around being open. That's you have seen probably some memes online.
Yeah.
Carrying the
with the little hand tools that keep your laptop open just a little bit, so that it doesn't go into sleep mode.
Yeah, exactly. So that's about Junie, but as I said, we could do it with any agent, and it doesn't matter. We do work towards providing more from the IDE for the agents, exposing more tools, more intelligence, for debugging, for, I don't know, for running tests, for inspections, and so on. And we do have the MCP server, right? We have MCP servers, and you can have a glimpse into exposed tools. Yeah, what do we offer right now? But
Oh yeah.
I would
Okay.
say we kind of slowed down on the MCP tooling initiative, and we are currently working on repackaging those skills as, well, not skills, the MCP tools as agent skills, so that it would be more efficient and more controllable. Because like the tools are there, but then you actually need to teach the agent how to use those tools. And just providing the description, like the one we have here, well, it helps, but it pollutes the context. We can do progressive discovery, but it's not so efficient. It's better to provide some sort of a wrapping around those tools with the guidance how to actually use them, like especially the debugger skills. These are the most interesting ones for me. I'm yet to explore them more within the agents. I know the debugging tools in the IDE and I can use them, but I'm curious, how can I teach the agents to debug applications more efficiently without adding the print line statements into your code everywhere when something doesn't work?
Yeah. So these are tools that you provide for any AI agent that wants to interact with IntelliJ, with the local IntelliJ instance.
Right.
And what you're just now saying that MCP is, you're still developing it, but it slowed down because now you actually
because there is a
more
way
for
to,
the agent.
yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, because there is a way to teach the agents to use tools more efficiently.
Yes. And so my question is the agent skills. So they have basically the knowledge how to call the command line for certain, let's say, debug features or something like that. So they can control IntelliJ through the command line. That's the point, right? Or how do they interact with IntelliJ?
So there would be currently, like, again, if we go to the MCP, there's this MCP server, right? Basically,
Yeah.
there would be an endpoint, and already
Right.
today, I can just configure Claude app, which I sometimes do, auto configure it, minimize the IntelliJ window, and have a session in Claude desktop,
Yeah.
brainstorming about something, and then decide, hey, I want this to be created inside the IntelliJ now. Please populate my project structure. And this is what I do sometimes.
Right.
But this could be done with the skills as well, because skills are on the side of the agent. And we're going to provide better instructions on how to use those tools that are exposed to the agent.
I see that. I just wondered how the agent will actually interact with IntelliJ through skills, because skills are just text files and not. It's not a server.
Yes, it might be a special client. We don't know yet, so it's the research.
Okay.
It, like, at the very naive implementation, could be still using the same endpoint with the same MCP tools, but yeah, it's not something like for the next release even. It's like ongoing initiative. I would say set of initiatives that we are working with, and we do publish blogs about that. The one I just demonstrated, you can find more in our blogs. There are different teams working on that, so they might appear like in different blogs on our site.
Yeah, cool. Okay,
great. So what do you think? Can we try developing the MIDI application in your machine?
I think
now?
we can, because we saw how you created the existing application, and now we can switch to an actual empty repository.
Let's do that.
All right. So I'm adding my machine back, and I actually just created this repository, which is completely empty. Yes, and I went looking for MIDI files, and I found this repository with a lot of supposedly MIDI files, but almost all of them are empty. So it's good that you have actually generated something, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I already checked out this repository. Yeah, I added a git ignore because I have one MIDI file included in here, and I don't want to push that. But other than that, yeah, we are good to go. My credits are full, so I had 10 out of 10 credits, and we can start. So what would you suggest? Should we pull in some skills first?
Yeah, let's try that. Like, we go to the settings, AI assistant.
Usually that works, right? With
shift. Yeah, settings, skills.
Love that.
And now you can bring in either my skills. So currently you have the default repository, right, enabled with 200 or 300 skills, and I usually disable that because it's impossible to find anything. But you can add my repository, for instance, or we can use any other spec kit available there. Have you used any? Like, there is OpenSpec, there is BMAD, there is spec kit by GitHub, but they all have their own like workflows. I thought the reason I'm using my skills is that my custom skills is that I know what they're doing. Like, I know the flow. I have designed it intuitively for myself, and as soon as I understand how this thing works, how this scenario works, I don't really need any others, like any other toolkits to install, because they all have their own special understanding that I have to learn.
That's something I don't like that much, because you always have to know in which order you have to use those, and then in which case you have to use them again, and stuff like that. So let's use yours if you're fine with that.
Agent skills is the repository. You can just take the URL and paste it into the in the settings, add a new URL. And by the way, just for people watching, bringing in third-party skills in your project is a security issue. Like, just saying. Even if you check the repository and you see only the markdown files there, the markdown files might have instructions to scan your environment variables and send the email somewhere, or generate the Python program and send it somewhere else. So do scan like the agent skills, like in details, what they are actually doing.
So what I usually like to do is use Docker sandboxes, because it basically sandboxes the CLI agents. And that's pretty cool, because you don't have to worry that much about it. I mean, it can still get into your GitHub repository if you don't have a separate user, and then do shit. But it cannot delete any local files or stuff like that.
Yes.
That's a good. But there's no way to. There's no way to sandbox Junie in that way. We will use it, right? There's Brave mode, I think.
I think there was actually. Yes, the Brave mode is for letting the Junie to execute the commands automatically. That's why it's Brave.
Yeah.
for brave people.
Like a YOLO mode.
Yeah, but my former colleague, Oleg Shlive, I think he had a blog post on how to sandbox IntelliJ agents, which should be possible. I just don't know by heart how to do that.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Then let's leave it now for now. What I also did, I forgot to open it. Give me one second. I have some JavaFX skills. I try to write them myself. So this has some skills as well.
Yeah, you can take this URL right now.
Yep.
And
this one or the one of the skills?
the skills.
Yeah.
The skills.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's try
and
it.
add that one as well.
Not really sure how it works, if that works at all, but we'll see. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe you have to. You have some skills installed, and then below there, like if you scroll, you see.
Oh yeah. Okay.
The new
My skills are
right?
here.
Yeah.
And
The uncomfortable thing is that you have to install them one by one. That's annoying if you have to install many skills. So you actually have to click
okay.
many times.
I can't select more with Shift or anything.
No.
At all. No. Okay.
That's very annoying, and it really annoys me.
Yeah.
But anyways, at least this button works, because otherwise, for some reason, it didn't work on my machine. I had to go and select from the drop down every skill, where to install it, and so on.
All right. I just select, see what skills could be interesting for us.
So, like when I was developing my prototype, I didn't use any specific JavaFX skills.
Yeah.
So the model was pretty intelligent too.
Right. I think so too. I don't think you really need those, but I wanted to try.
Yeah.
If
Let's
they
see.
make any sense.
Skills are good for guiding the agent to get what you want exactly, right?
Yeah.
Even though the model might have all this training data or all this information in its training data, it might go some other direction. But if you are using this spec-driven workflow, the idea is of spec-driven workflow is that you steer the agent towards that set of information that you actually want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So we got do we have all your skills? Do we have all the skills you need?
So the
spec.
Yes, the spec, the accept, six of them. A Spring Batch is probably not needed.
Well,
we can remove that one. Yeah.
So now it's removed. Yeah. Okay. It's removed. It's not enabled. All right.
And basically, the input for our task would be to put like my skills, the skills you just installed, they assume that you will have a spec folder, and in that spec folder you will have the initial idea for what you want to develop, the proposal.md file, where you will have those points, or the bullet points, what you want to build.
Right.
Yeah. It's just a file.
Some
proposal.
So I think MD.
Yep. Right there. And yeah, you can maybe take it from our announcement, or we can just type it here, what exactly you want to build. It could be something like MIDI playback and visualization with JavaFX.
JavaFX.
Yeah, we want the application to play the MIDI file. Like the user should be able to select from the file system, play, pause,
Yeah. Okay.
the playback,
Great.
visualize the tempo, visualize the MIDI notes.
The what? The tempo.
Tempo.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Notes, instruments, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure if MIDI. Well, it should contain the instruments. Most likely, it does have some kind of a default name for every track. Then what else? We could be more specific in how we want. What kind of animation do we want to have? So if you remember, I had MIDI notes flying from left to right.
Yes. So
we can
I imagined something like Guitar Hero, where these things fly from far away from top to bottom and get closer every time, and then if they are very close to you, then it actually hits the key. I'm not sure if that's too much to ask.
If you're able to. By the way, you just said it. You just said it like visualize the like animation, create the animation in Guitar Hero style that might have the description in its training data. Because on the next step, we are going to clarify all that.
Yes, wonderful.
All right, okay. So like currently we have Junie in the chat with Claude Sonnet 4.6. For planning and for refining my input, I would actually use Opus. Sonnet is like a high-end model for code generation in my mind, and Opus is more like for creative work. And currently we're gonna do a few steps that are very creative in trying to figure out what exactly we want to build. So if we switch to Opus 4.7, and
you had Fable in there. You just shared your screen and you had Fable. I don't have that.
Yes. I'm hesitant on trying it because it's 2 times more expensive than Opus, and I might run out of the credits too fast. But let's do something like with. I mean, Opus is still an awesome model. You can do a lot with that. And the trigger we want to run. Oh, by the way, I don't see in your project view. I don't see the .agents directory. Can you refresh that somehow?
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Reload from this. You're right.
Could you go back to the settings and let's see what is happening there? Select any of the skills that we had. For instance, the first one. No, select click on that, and this drop down next to disable button, install for your project. Yes, try that.
So you think I have to do that for every skill as well?
I think so.
Let's see if it shows up now. Yes. Yes. Okay.
I'm not sure. It's a little bit how to say confusing. I still don't understand how they are installing and propagating the skills. Maybe when you just installed it as is, as you had it previously, it installs into the users folder, and currently you're installing it into the project.
And it's still using it, but we don't see it in the repository.
Yeah, might be the case, because I somehow like seeing all the skills in the project view, and I'm not really keen on installing the skills in the global folder.
Yeah, same here, because then it will blow up immediately. If you have a couple of different projects with different skills, then you will have too much.
Oh, it depends how they are propagated, but I like the transparency and explicitness. Like if it's there, then it's used. If it's not there, then it's not used. If I don't see it.
Yeah, and it also, I mean, it helps with sharing your project. If anybody else wants to code on your project,
exactly,
then it's problematic if they don't have the skills you actually use all the time, maybe. All right.
Yeah.
So this should be bigger now, and it is.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So my first command that I used for starting to refine this spec was analyze the proposal using the spec skill. And I wanted to be just like explicit that, hey, you're going to use the spec skill. So if you just type it there.
I would have suggested that I type in skill and then actually just type in the skill. But that's not how it works here.
It's so it seems that you have used Claude Code too much, and you have your own understanding how skills are invoked, and you probably have not used Codex, because in Codex you invoke skills using $sign.
Okay, no,
so
but I want to correct that. So I used Claude, I used GitHub Copilot and Anti-Gravity, and all three of those have the same syntax.
Yes, and Codex has $, but Junie doesn't invoke skills. They load skills by $, and I discussed it so many times with Junie skill, and they said no, skills should not be invocable. The commands are invocable, and the commands are invocable using the slash, and skills should be invoked just by the natural language input. I cannot say that I agree with them. Like, that's my personal opinion. I think it should be slash the same way as Claude Code, but it doesn't mean that it's the only way. Like, they have their own opinions on that. So the way I invoke skills from the chat is just by the natural language input.
Right. Okay, let's go with that. What did he say? Right?
Analyze the proposal using the spec skill.
Yeah. Okay.
And well, technically, if you just hit enter, that should do it. If it doesn't, I have a. Okay, it does. It found the skills. It will figure out which one it needs, and it's gonna start asking your questions, because the skill is about refining what do you want to build, refining the proposal.
Unknown exception.
Oh, could it be Claude? I don't know. We can probably retry, maybe with other model.
Yeah. So we're using.
Let's try GPT 5.5, for instance.
All right. And shall we just copy and paste that?
Yeah, should work.
Oh.
Okay. Exit early, a known exception occurred. Seems that Junie doesn't work for you.
Okay, let's. We can try quickly another one.
But whatever works. Claude Agent, maybe. That one should actually execute the spec skill.
I'm just not sure, because I never used it in here. I'm not sure if it knows all the tokens and.
It does.
Authentication. Yeah, it does. Wonderful. All right.
Which version of IntelliJ are you using, by the way?
I just updated. So
it's the latest stable, right? Okay, it's the same that I use.
And it did work before.
No, it's still working. The error it displayed is just for the directory, but okay. So the question number one, as you can see, it is asking you like the phrase Guitar Hero style, like
Yes.
why it matters, vertical failing versus horizontal scrolling, exactly what we wanted. So you can say, for instance,
A,
A.
right?
Yeah.
That's what I want.
So one of the differences, like, or the UX that terminal-based agents are providing is this quick selections, like with arrow keys. Like for this kind of questions, you would be
Yeah.
able to just select what you want and proceed further. And here you
Right.
kind of have to type. But in Junie, we do have kind of similar UX where you can, where it generates the buttons and
Mhm.
you click on any of those buttons. I hope we will be able to control that with the arrow keys as well. As you can see, it actually has a recommended option for you. So we
Oh, yeah.
can do wipe specking right now. We can just type A and select whatever option is recommended, and just for the demo purposes to speed things up.
Right.
Otherwise, we would have to read. But why this stage is important, I think, like regardless what you use, what agent you use, what model you use, is that you're actually building up your understanding of the problem that you want to build, or like what you want to implement, and you understand what are the options. You learn something about the problem, and you actually then know how the agent is going to implement that and
Yeah.
what are the trade-offs. Yeah. Okay.
Definitely. I think that's the most important part if you using AI to code anything, that you should go ahead and plan very thoroughly and also document that stuff, because not only will it be very helpful for the agent to understand what you're trying to do, but also for yourself to understand what's it trying to
Exactly.
do, and what if that's the same idea that you actually have. Yeah.
Yep. So let's
Right.
select option
Still,
A. The side effect of this is that all the files will actually be, or this micro decisions will actually be in the markdown files. So the next question is regarding the pause and play. And those markdown files will be in the project structure. And once you end up with a few thousand lines of code that the AI agent is going to generate for you, you can, look at the code and ask why this is implemented this way. You might have those questions, and the agent will most likely will be able to scan those markdown files and tell you this is because of the decision we made at this stage when we were planning the execution.
yeah.
It actually takes a lot of time to prepare all that, but then you generate the app, you kind of control it, and you have built up the expectation what is going to be built. It's like when someone comes to your house and wants to do the renovation work, or like not that they want to do this, like you invited someone.
That would be nice.
And if you say that I need to do the renovation work, please do that for me, and turn and walk away, then you don't know what exactly they are going to do. But if you ask them, they're going to scan the environment, look around, and say, "Hey, I'm going to paint that wall. It seems that this needs painting," and you confirm or decline. You say, "Hey, like this wall was painted like a week ago. Please paint another one." So
yeah.
same stuff here.
You're right. So what I would like to add as well is these architecture decisions records. Do you know about those?
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
one of
right.
the things that people are using for the same kind of stuff. But
Right.
architecture decision records are more about the constraints, how something needs to be implemented, not what exactly, not the functional part.
Yes, that's true. But what they give you is this kind of history why the technical things were decided, or why
Right.
they were not decided, and that's actually really helpful to read upon and to know about the history of the project, why we use JavaFX and not, I don't know, Spring Boot or something.
Yes.
Right.
So here it asks you, do we want to generate the sound, or we would not?
So
whatever works for you.
should we tell him to always use the recommended setting? Or is that cheating?
Yes, we can. Well, it's kind of cheating, but it will be like it will speed the things up. Like we will have it all recorded in the markdown files that this process generates. So it's not really cheating. It's all clarified, but clarified automatically for us.
Right. Yeah. I mean, even if we don't read it, the AI is basically thinking about it and writing it down, so it's still useful, I guess.
Exactly.
So after that whole process of spec, it will create another spec file, or it will add to the proposal.
I'm like my style is keeping things immutable, so I could delete the files and start over. That's why it will actually create the spec.md file.
All right.
Yeah. So currently it takes longer because it probably is spinning through multiple questions, but at the end, without asking us any questions, it should technically create the spec.md file in that folder.
And can you tell it to think out loud?
It just did. It just did. Yeah.
After it was finished, yeah.
No, it's still spinning the stuff. So the thinking blocks sometimes are pretty large, and that is why it's not. Okay, so it tries to call the MCP server, but for some reason is failing sometimes. I don't know if it's actually it's worth checking if
it's running in the don't ask mode. It just said that. Sorry.
Okay, it needs permissions. You see, like a few lines below, it says that it needs permissions to output. So it generated the spec, but for some reason it
deny if not pre-approved. Okay, so that means only the already approved permissions will be used, but everything else is just denied, so it doesn't block the AI agent. That's nice. That's not what we want.
Yeah, it actually I don't know. I expected a little bit different behavior. Usually it asks you and then you confirm. I don't know why it behaved this way for you, but
that's probably default. This one. Yeah.
Yeah, let's try default. Yes.
All right. Try to write the file, right?
Yeah, write the spec file as intended. Yeah. Because we do have all this content already, like in the chat. We technically could have just copied and pasted it, but we want the agent to do that.
Yeah.
So what the part of the spec is like figuring out the ambiguities and open questions, and then a little bit below there is a section for behaviors to verify. This is my own intuition for what to test when we are getting closer to the implementation. So behaviors to verify is like basically this input for the next stage that will generate the acceptance criteria for the project.
All right.
So
these are almost like use cases.
Yes, they are.
I guess, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you will see like basically use cases will be the next stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it's asking probably to write that.
Yeah.
File. Yeah. Always allow.
Great. I'm not a big fan of agents doing this kind of edits because then it's almost impossible to see the diffs You can only see the final file result, like that something was modified. But as you can see, it says to you ready for 02 criteria, because it's in my skills, in the agent skills I have prepared. There is a description of this pipeline that you can. What is the next stage, right?
Yeah.
So if you do slash criteria, it's going to run that next stage.
Yeah. Where does it say that?
On the top, like currently in the chat, like
pipeline.
the very last. The pipeline description is here. Yes.
Yeah, that's probably it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So we want the 02 criteria.
No, just criteria. It's because it says the name of the folder slash criteria. Sorry.
Shall we?
Yeah.
Now I don't understand. Where does that come from? The name / criteria, is that defined here again?
Yes.
Okay, so
that's how the agents discover the skills. Yes.
Okay. So if this is dashboard. Yeah. Okay. Okay, but then you can explicitly call those skills, just not by writing /skills, but actually just slash and then.
You see, you currently have selected Claude agent, not Junie, but so we just delegate to the agent the behavior. But Junie does not use slash for the skills, and that's why I'm just controlling it with natural language.
Yeah. Okay. But I just see that I should probably update that, right? That could be a possibility.
Let's try that. You could, but while it's updating, while it's updating, you can just run the next skill, the criteria. Because
is it updating now? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. If you go to the
no, that's not a plugin, right?
In tools, AI assistant, there will be agents, and here we have update. Yeah. And once you click OK, then it will start downloading. It doesn't start downloading immediately.
Okay.
You see there's ACP registry.Junie. It's downloading right now.
Okay. So while we wait, we can use criteria.
Yeah, just hit the enter.
Wonderful.
It's actually downloading pretty fast for you. It takes longer on my side, but my connection is not just so fast.
All right.
Yeah. So this step, what it actually does, it takes the behaviors to verify from the spec and generates the use cases. And I do use a different name, so naming is hard. I call them acceptance criteria. That's why it's / criteria. But naming is just like your intuition for the things. It can be called whatever you want it to be called, right?
Yeah.
And the reason I have them numbered is just for quicker navigation. That this is the first step. This is the second step.
I like this.
Because otherwise you don't know what to run next.
Right.
What is the order of things?
So if you, how do you go about that? So given that we have the complete application, now you want to change something. Do you go ahead and call the spec skill again with some adjustments you want to do, or are you just changing the code?
So the question is, how do I keep this spec in sync with the code, basically? Like, and how do I continue developing the new features? So if I implemented the initial skill, the initial specification, the initial feature, I would most likely just delete all the spec files and the proposal as well.
Okay. That's
This is
hardcore.
what there are different opinions about that. Some people say
Yeah.
that you should keep the specs, initial specs around. Someone would say you should confirm
Yep.
the action. Someone would say that it doesn't make sense because the spec will drift from the code, and sometimes you are doing modifications by hands. Some people would say they are never like changing the code manually, and therefore it's going to be in sync and so on. So Matt, I have referred to his skill, the agent skill, Grill Me, that kind of grills your initial proposal and asking the same question. I had the inspiration from his skill for my spec-driven workflow as well. He says that if you implemented the initial idea, just delete the skill, the specs, and start another one. And some of the spec kits have this archive action as well. They would move the specs for the features you have implemented into the archive so that you can keep them around, but they don't affect your context window too much. Just for the history.
Yeah.
I would say that yes, like there are different ways of doing this. I could keep my spec files like in the same folder and just say, hey, I want to develop this new feature. Please add this into this spec again,
Yes.
like as a new section, as a new feature. But your spec will grow.
Yeah.
And the spec is not the specification of the whole project. The spec is a function for mutating your initial state of the project into another one. So currently we are in the greenfield project, but it could have been music matrix that with existing source code without any specs in there. And
That's interesting.
the way we would develop our spec would be on top of the state of the existing project by exploring what is already there and what is needed in order to implement this new feature. I'm not sure why this is failing, like the Claude agent is failing to generate the correct command for Python or what?
Yeah, it's probably having trouble with Windows.
Most likely.
But that's really interesting to me, because that's a very different understanding for specification from my point of view. I would actually think that a specification should contain the whole system and should describe it completely.
It's I think it's the problem with the name and what you have, like what kind of neurons are activating in your head when you hear the word specification, right?
Yes.
I think for the lack of better name, we just call it spec driven development, but it could be, I don't know, structured prompt driven development, right? And or context driven development. But my process is about like, hey, I want to develop this single feature, and it's just a different state of the project. In one case it's a greenfield empty project, and in another case it's the existing code base, and the spec that I'm building and refining step by step should take into account what I already have.
Yes. Yeah, I understand. So for me, that's more like a plan. So these plans in the AI agents, if they are in planning mode, they plan the current feature. And if you are satisfied with that plan, then you implement it.
Exactly.
So a plan, yep.
The plan is very similar to what we are doing, but plan is transient. It doesn't persist. We are just reviewing it in one session, and we are letting the agent go. We don't have the records.
Right. So one thing one systematic I had here on the channel actually was called guided coding, and Kenny Pflug actually like specified that. So he did all the planning. He let the AI write all the plans in a MD file. And then if he was satisfied with that, then he just told the AI to implement it. And then if he had any kind of change, he let the AI write the next document, the next plan. And he actually numbered those as well. So it started with 0, 1, and then 0, 2, and
very
and so
similar.
forth.
Yes,
Yeah,
very similar.
I think so too. And then you have, again, you have the complete history of all your plans, and the AI could find out what it did previously.
Yep.
If it wants to.
You have to confirm the action again.
Yeah, sorry.
Something is happening with Python. Oh no, it actually now it executes, right? Now it actually runs them.
Yeah, it
one by one.
Yeah. Seems to work now.
Okay, it figured it out. Nice.
Yeah. So that's actually one of the benefits, I think, with Docker sandboxes, because it always runs in Linux. And for me, it seems like all these AI agents have a better understanding of Linux than from Windows.
That's true.
Yeah, so it should have installed
Junie.
Junie. Yeah, okay. It doesn't say that we have to update it, and we don't have to restart. Seems like it.
No, because these agents are plugged in via ACP, and basically when you run the task, they start a new process. So it's just a binary.
That's amazing. And will we be able to just switch the model in this chat? No, not switch the model, switch the agent. Yeah, sorry.
I think yes, like right. I think when you switch the agent within the active session, where you already have the context, it will actually start the new chat automatically.
Oh yeah.
Because like a month ago, at least, it wasn't able to propagate the context from the previous agent into another one. But it might have changed. I haven't seen it working like this, but you never know. I am just like, I'm not keeping up with the changes. Like,
yeah.
Honestly,
I mean,
even with the changes that we make.
Yeah. And but JetBrains is a pretty huge team now, right? How many people do you have?
At JetBrains, we have around 3,000 people.
Yeah,
and
okay.
I don't know people by names, of course, and it might seem that we have one product, but there are very different teams working on different subsystems. So this AI chat and AI assistant team is kind of a separate team. I'm mostly working with the team that works on the Java and enterprise features like Spring support, and this is our bread and butter, like framework support like Hibernate. So that subsystem.
Right. Okay. So what is it actually doing all the time? It's writing.
It's writing those acceptance criteria, but I don't understand why is it writing them so like one by one.
Yeah. A length limit. It's hitting a length limit. At least it
that's why. Okay. And you're saying to it like always allow, and it still asks. Okay, so finally.
Yes. Wonderful.
So the next step, because what we did currently, the first step, we clarified the requirements, what we actually want to build, and the next, the step that we just run was about synthesizing the use cases or acceptance criteria. But we did not clarify anything about the technical capabilities, what should be used and how.
Yes.
And that step, normally in the existing projects, you would have some kind of established code style, for instance, and toolkits like SpecKit would rather generate the summary of the project at the very first step and put it into something like constitution.md that that is stored in the project root. We are currently working on the Greenfield project, and we don't have established, rules how things are working. So this rule step is kind of optional, but I do use it because I'm mostly using those agent skills for building demo projects, and they are always greenfield. Like,
yeah.
I'm a professional Hello World developer. I haven't been developing anything for the product for the last 10 years or so, but I do write a lot of Hello World demo project. So if you run the rules, the rules stage, or like,
shall we try to change it?
Let's try. Yes.
I would want to try Junie again.
Yes.
So
you can tell it. I don't remember how to trigger it.
Okay.
Yeah, like you actually can open the skill, the rules skill, and in the description, like the description of a skill is this triggering phrase, kinda.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So you can use it as a prompt, just to make sure that it actually triggers.
All right.
Yeah. Let's see if it actually runs. I don't know. Something is broke.
Yeah.
What is happening?
Okay, let me at least try to restart it one time.
Yeah. Okay.
And if it doesn't work, we can go on with Claude.
Yeah. So one of the things that is beneficial, I think, if we treat IntelliJ as a platform, not as a single vendor of the agents, you stay within the same environment that you are used to, like with the same tools, with the same shortcuts. You have used it for a while. Why would you have to learn something else, the new environment? And some agent has broke, like it is broke. Let's say Junie, you have used it, but then if you develop this kind of intuition for agents, that what commands you're running, what agent skills you are using, then you can just switch to another agent and continue the same way. Your workflow doesn't break. So I see this as a benefit of being a platform, or thinking of IntelliJ as a platform.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's not that I really,
I mean,
think I don't think the UI currently, or the experience with the chat, is what it should be. We can see currently, like JetBrains Air, Cursor 3, Codex, more other products, they are changing the layout. If you're focused on working with the agents, then this chat is kind of the main window. And it will be possible with IntelliJ also, starting from the next release,
to have the chat as a main window and everything is built around it.
Yes.
Okay. What I'm missing a little bit is that's actually Junie or the AI chat is interacting with any kind of file or anything like that. So we don't see what files it created. I mean, we see it here in the list, of course, but it doesn't say, okay, I created the spec-md and I can and it highlights it, or I can click on it,
we can quickly switch to my computer, to my screen.
Yeah. I mean, Junie is thinking now, so
yeah.
Maybe it's working better.
Yeah. So exactly what you were saying. So this is what I like to see.
Right.
And like at the stage of generating the specs, when it generates the full files, this is not so important to me. But when I actually generate something, that I'm doing the file edits, I actually want to see what kind of edits it did for the existing files. So for instance, do I have it anywhere? Yeah, for instance here, like what did it modify with this? Okay, it changed the modifier. It's a minor change, but the idea here is that I would really see not the full PR when everything was generated at the very end, but what are the edits it's doing in the
Yeah,
intermediate steps, because I want to
exactly.
follow. And I think I
Okay.
have more of that. Okay, not that one. One of the interesting things that Junie is doing with Opus and with some other models, it actually generates either the steps or tries to visualize what this patch or what this session actually did, and
Yeah.
how the new artifacts are connected to existing, I don't know, model or life cycle or anything else. Yeah.
So execute. So this is not regarding any architectural decision or something. It's just telling you how it's created, no, what
Yeah.
itself did, basically.
Yes.
What the
Yes.
agent did.
Yes.
Okay. That's interesting.
So here I was generating the project in phases, because one of the artifacts after we generate the spec, the acceptance criteria, technical constraints, then we'll have a plan, and plan consists of phases, and phases consist of tasks, and I just approve every phase when it's complete, and
Yeah.
then in the status file I would have like tracking, and while it's generating the code, it actually leaves some notes, what was done and how it was done. Maybe there is a drift from the specification. This is what I would like to know about as well.
Right.
So let's switch back to your screen and see if
Well,
Junie is capable of doing anything. It's still thinking. No, it's
it's
not
still
good. It's
thinking,
not.
and I just took a look.
Did it burn? Did it burn any tokens for you, or
Yeah,
like?
yeah. It was full in the beginning. I'm not sure what it does.
Please stop it. Please stop. Like on the bottom
Yeah.
right, there is this stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't. I think there's something broken with
Yeah.
Junie.
Oh,
But
now I have the fable. Okay.
yeah, like if you run it once, I think you just will exhaust your credits like in one session. I wouldn't do that.
Now
Let's
use
try.
Opus.
Yeah,
Right?
let's try Opus.
One more time. So,
Brave mode it is. Brave mode is fine.
Okay. All right.
Let's see. Let's see.
Think more is not enabled because.
Yeah, it's fine. With Sonnet models, think more doesn't actually do a lot of effect. It does for GPT models and for Gemini, but technically with Opus or Claude models, it just burns more tokens. but the effect will not be like much better.
Yeah, right.
See, I have my doubts. Something is actually broken. It should not be behaving. It's like thinking and thinking and thinking.
Yeah, it's strange. Okay, I mean that's the beauty that you said. We can use any other kind of agent, and it works basically the same. So we'll do that.
Yeah.
Switch back to Claude because that worked.
Yeah.
And do a new chat. Okay.
Yep.
I like to bypass permissions. Can do anything at once.
You only live once. YOLO.
Right. Okay. I didn't specify any model. Oh, default.
Yeah, the default. Default is Opus.
Sonnet is, it says here. Yeah.
It does? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. It's gonna do the thing.
Right.
So currently, the rules skill, how it's written, it actually tries to account for some existing things. Maybe you have Claude .md, maybe you have Gemini.md or something else, and it was printing out some statements that it didn't find those, but it's fine. Like if they don't exist, it just skips. There is just no information.
Yeah.
But it will, like we are looking, or we are expecting it to generate rules.md, and sometimes it might ask the clarifying questions as well
Okay.
about the choices. Maybe you want,
Yeah.
let's say we have to work with JSON, and then you need to parse the JSON, and we have different libraries for parsing JSON, and you don't have one in POM XML or whatever Gradle build file, and then the skill is instructed to ask you like which library you want to add. So we can cheat here and say that choose whatever is recommended, and
Yeah.
Now when we are done with this step, we technically have used the same agent and the same model for all the steps, right?
Yes.
And we would end up with a few artifacts in the spec folder: the criteria, the spec, the something else, the rules.md as well. So 3 files generated by the same agent and the same model. And our assumption or our understanding of the things is that if we use the same tool for generating those, they should be consistent. And that's wrong, because there might be some corner cases where they contradict to each other. And that's why I came up with the review skill, like spec-review skill, that will validate those artifacts and say if there is a blocker that we cannot overcome. Are there like major, like minor issues, discrepancies within the specification, like because for some things it might happen that you set something to be implemented in one way, or a functional requirement to be implemented in one way, but then the technical constraint is actually either not covering that completely or conflicts with that decision. It's a kind of corner case, but so far, even with small demos, I'm almost always have at least one major issue.
All right. Okay. And that doesn't mean it will become an issue. It could be that by implementing, it will find out that this is an issue and that actually fix it. But I'm sure it's better to prevent this if possible. Yeah.
Especially like if this is the project that you're working on and you actually have the responsibility for. I mean, we're currently developing the demo application. We are not responsible for anything.
Right.
But in the real life scenario, you probably are. So it generated a bunch of rules.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, and now I can click it. Okay.
Yeah. So
That's wonderful.
one tip for you: just don't close it yet. Side-by-side viewer and the unified viewer. And when you work with the agents, side-by-side viewer is an overkill, because most of the time you will have the code on the right and empty side on the left. If you select unified viewer, you're gonna see the difference. And for most of the time, especially on the greenfield projects, it will be just all green because this is a new file.
Yeah.
I started using this view and made my life so much simpler, like without looking in this little teeny window in the editor, like
Right. I mean, now I have scaled everything up pretty bad. That's why it's even harder. But yeah, still, if you have a full screen with a high resolution, it's still hard to read.
So if we did that like in this step-by-step manner without letting the agent to select the recommended option, we would follow all those micro decisions, but at least they are written out. And my next step would be to ask the agent to actually validate. So slash, I think it was spec-review skill.
Mhm.
Spec-review would look at those artifacts. And this is the heaviest. It's the heaviest step, because it needs to analyze stuff and find out what could, contradict. Usually takes the longest
So this is
time.
this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, spec review. Okay.
hmm And after that, the final step before actually going into implementation is actually to generate the plan. Exactly, like what order and how we are going to track whatever is implemented. So I came up with this workflow when the agents were just appearing, the models were not so smart yet, and the agents were fragile. They did not do context compression, and they would easily run out of the context window. And it was so
Ah,
annoying when the agent is running out of the context window and you have
yeah.
to start a new session and explain where it stopped and where it should
Yes.
start
Okay.
from. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought like it would be just nice to have some kind of tracking.
Right.
And my initial idea was, okay, let's have a markdown file with the checkboxes. It would just uncheck whatever it has implemented. But for this workflow, the plan that I'm generating is actually a YAML file, and it's immutable. So I'm tracking the status in a smaller file, because
Mm-hmm.
then it doesn't have to regenerate too many lines of code and so on. But the YAML file with the plan, why is it YAML? And does it matter if it's a markdown or a YAML file? For models, it's important not to have the format or like the markup language, but it's important to have a repeatable pattern. So in Markdown, our repeatable pattern is having those titles, uh, dots, bullet points, and so on. And YAML file is very structured actually. So there is a schema. So when
Mm-hmm.
I was generating my first plan.yaml file or tasks.yaml file,
Yes.
the agent was actually able to generate a schema and validate it.
Ah, yes. All right. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so you defined a schema that it will follow, and then
Yeah.
you think this is
Yeah.
easier to
Yeah. So
use.
my hobby thing is sometimes experimenting with traceability of the specs, and I would like to validate them and navigate them efficiently. If I have a schema and my tasks file is has a structure, and maybe I can structure other artifacts the same way, then I can probably build a plugin that would help me to navigate from the spec to the generated code and to this acceptance criteria and back, and have it all visualized. I haven't
Yeah.
developed that yet, but there are efforts at JetBrains to do that as well, or like to simplify doing that.
So what I like to do in my other project is actually that's what I got from Ralf D. Müller, and he showed me that well there is a command line tool, of course, for GitHub, and you can through the command line create issues and solve them and stuff like that. So what I like to do is I let the AI actually plan epics and the issues and describe them in GitHub, and then just work through them step by step.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically what you do here, I think, in a YAML file, but online, and maybe a bit more traceable and human readable. But I mean, this is probably more efficient because it's really local. It's just a file.
Tracing is actually a hard problem to implement. Like you can generate comments, like what code was generated according to what rule, but then it pollutes the sources with all those identifiers. If
Mhm.
you're tracking those traces and changes somehow in a separate file, then by modifying the source code, it will drift away from this meta information that you might keep around in order to trace and connect things. So it is hard in a way.
Yeah.
I have developed one plugin that keeps track of the symbols, so that even if you change the line of code, like say it changes the position in the file, then the plugin would be able to still identify which method are you navigating to. But it's still pretty fragile, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Hmm.
What? Hi, Alexandro. He's from Brazil. That's pretty cool.
Nice. Hello. Uh,
Yeah, and
so
the agent is still working. I
you
mean,
should. Could you scroll a little bit? Like, is it printing out anything? Okay, it's
well,
yeah. As I said, this is a hard task for the agent to
but
take this spec and
yeah,
find those contradictions.
but I mean, our spec isn't that big, right? Is it?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's not even 100 lines.
Yeah,
Okay, okay,
it's
the
not.
rules. Yeah.
It's not. But the somehow I noticed like all the previous steps and the other steps that I'm doing usually are pretty fast, and this verification step is like the one that is heavy.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah.
okay. If it's worth the wait, then all is fine.
Uh, let's see if it is like in the best case, it will not find any major issues.
Yeah.
We could take a look at the spec.md and see what are the clarifying or assumptions, explicit assumptions. So resolved ambiguities is something. Are those clarified questions
Yeah.
that the
That we all said A to or recommend
uh-huh.
to.
And then there are also explicit assumptions. So something that it didn't ask for, but it will tell you how something will be implemented. Right.
But it
Otherwise,
wasn't important enough to ask us for it.
yes, yes,
Yep.
yes. So at least like so many times when I explain this to people and explain this workflow, people say, "Oh, there are so many markdown files," right? One suggestion is that if you don't want to read that, well, you just ask the agent not to generate this, sections. You can modify those skills, agent skills, for generating the spec. But in most cases, I find that I want to know about the edge cases. I want to know about the explicit assumptions and open questions. That's why I keep them around. So I
Yeah.
was kind of tuning this prompt to my understanding of the things. If you
Right.
take something else off the shelf like OpenSpec, SpecKit, BMAT, they have their own prompts and their own formats and their own requirements, what they want to see in this artifact. There are
Right.
also, I think you have heard of superpowers. So superpower skill is also very helpful, especially if you are using it with Claude Code. There is a brainstorming session, which is very familiar or like similar to the first step we had here.
Yeah.
It will ask the clarifying questions
Right.
uh, and present you with options,
Mhm.
which one to select from. And then the grill me skill is also one interesting. Like if you compare to what I have for the spec, it's like a huge prompt. I have, I think it's 100 lines or so. But this grill me skill is 4 sentences, 4 short sentences that will basically do the same, but it doesn't assume that there will be an output format for something. Because Matt, who developed the skill, he has another tool to serialize the decisions into GitHub.
Okay.
In
Okay.
GitHub instead. So his workflow is with GitHub. My
Yeah.
workflow is with the local MD files.
Okay.
So
Right.
the workflows are different, but the principle is the same everywhere. Like
Right.
clarifying all those steps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
but
still working.
like again, the fundamental difference I see, because I thought most of spec-driven development is basically the same. Like you said, the difference is maybe the workflow is a bit different. The tools are a bit different, but actually every spec-driven development does the specification and then from there it implements. But the fundamental difference I see now from your perspective is that you're actually not really keen on having the spec around. You just want the spec to be present for the implementation, and then after this it can be thrown away.
Yes.
And that's really interesting.
Okay, so there is a review.
Yes.
It's pretty long, but it doesn't mean that there are blockers. Let's see. What does it say?
Greenfield.
Do we have any blockers?
Uh,
So discipline check
conflicts. Okay.
We have one blocker or what?
Minor.
Okay, we have a blocker and a few minors. What we can do without, because we are vibing here somewhat,
Yep.
we can say, because there is a recommended resolution, right? It says that there are three files that somewhat contradict to each other, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
To the bottom.
does it have a recommendation? Like there below, it should have a recommendation.
Verification,
resolution.
Rerun rule step.
Okay, impact every implementing agent that follows rule 7 will produce a visualization where notes rise from the keyboard towards the top instead of falling. You see?
Yeah.
And it's not something that the agent is guilty of. It's more like the model. It might be a model hallucination, or it just didn't take into account something. And we can just type in the prompt that resolve the major.
Okay.
Or you can say exactly like how exactly you want it to be.
The blocker by letting the notes actually fall from top to
bottom and rerun the rules step.
No, rerun the rules step. Okay.
Yeah. So the flow is accounts for this issue that you might have conflicts, and well, technically you could rerun the verification again, but since it's so simple, one issue, right? There shouldn't, like, we hope that there shouldn't be more major issues after fixing something. Then we could just proceed generating the tasks after that. So as you can see, it actually takes a long time. We have spent most of our time actually specking, not generating the code.
Yes.
But I figured that if I spend a little more time on starting it all, then at least the final result will be what I expect.
Yes.
And it will be working, and then I understand. So I can give you a few examples where I didn't do so. And in my GitHub, I still have a reversed proxy in Kotlin and Ktor that I'm not able to review. Like I'm not able to see how can I even use it. Like I still have this repository. Maybe I will return back. Last year, I also thought like, okay, generating those fun applications like games or musical applications, it's fun and the process is working. But then I tried building something just boring with Spring Framework, something like eShop, a bit more complicated than Spring Pet Cleaning, and there were so many bugs. Like it just generated something that is very hard to maintain and evolve. And like I was walking like from wall to wall and thinking like what did I do wrong? It's obviously a skill issue. I mean, I did not add any agent skills
Right.
guiding the agent how to generate the source code, but to be fair, agent skills did not exist in September when I was doing it.
Okay.
And with agent skills, I wouldn't have those problems. But the fundamental problem was that I didn't spend enough time figuring out how and what exactly and in which steps I'm going to build. So even without agent skills, I would have been able to generate a working application the way I want it to be structured and built and functionality implemented if I actually spent more time on preparing the flow.
Yeah.
And I like it's kind of boring. People like more technical things and engineering the hardness and adding the MCP tools and adding the agent skills, and spec-driven development is kind of boring process of reading the text.
Right.
But I think it's more important now. Maybe I'm just getting old.
No, but I think that's a very like sustainable way to use AI with a lot of specification, because that's what you did without AI as well. If you want to have a good software, you want to think it through. I mean, we have all that agile movement where you continuously rearrange your specification and stuff like that, and iterate over that. And you can still do that. Yeah.
Yes.
But you should have a very good understanding from the start. If you just
it doesn't change the fundamentals in a way that you should have a customer on site to actually iterate quicker. So one of the reactions I have for this method, I would say, I don't know how to call it, in another way, people would say, "Oh, but that's waterfall."
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
for the most part, those people have never worked with waterfall because it's so old, and they have just read in the books or someone told them the urban legend that the waterfall is bad, but they don't know why is it bad. Waterfall wasn't bad because it tried figuring out the requirements. It was bad because the figuring out or collecting the requirements took ages. And when you came up with the requirements, years passed, and everything changed, and then you implemented something that wasn't needed anymore, right? So waterfall, the idea of waterfall, figuring out the requirements in the beginning, is actually totally fine. It's just that with agents, we have shifted left so much. You can iterate quicker. Within a couple of hours, you can have a very detailed specification how to implement something.
Yeah. I think that the real problem with waterfall was that it expected to know everything from the start, and that's just not possible. But if you take into account that you try your best and you expect it not to work right away, then I think this is fine, and you can go back and re-specify again. And that's what you have to do, and that's basically agile, at least as I understand it. Okay.
Yes.
It's done.
So I assume that we actually fixed this problem right now.
Yes. Yeah.
we hope.
Assuming.
We did our best, and the final step in this process is actually generating the task list. So you can tell it like / tasks, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, tasks. Yep. And just let it do the work. And yeah, it reads the skill, as we can see. Actually, there is a safeguard checking the review.md. And if the status of the review is not what it expects it to be, it will actually refuse generating the task list.
Okay.
So fingers crossed. Okay, pass with conditions. No,
It
it
still
has not
fails,
been.
right?
Damn it!
Yeah,
We
because
can.
it didn't adjust the review. It fixed it, but it probably the file is still the same.
No. Like the conflicts is, it's fine that it's there, but there should be a verdict at the very bottom.
Oh, okay.
I
And
think.
that should you think that was adjusted?
Yeah, it modified the. Could you scroll down at the to the very bottom, please?
Explain rule.
So localized review rerun once upstream.
But it
Okay.
only changed the rules here.
Yes. The review needs to be.
We don't want to run the reviews again, I think.
Yeah. We don't. Let's see. There is a verdict. Maybe it's on the very top then on the file. I don't see it here in the bottom. Yeah, fail. So let's let's fix that. Say there is a pass.
Pass. Okay.
Yeah, pass. Yeah. We are faking it here. So let's see.
Zero
Let's
blocker.
see. Yeah.
Right.
Let's go. We are hacking the process right now, but no, normally you should actually resolve it. Of course, you should rerun the review. It's a little bit a heavyweight. You see, it's very experimental. It's only my workflow. It's not something standard, so you can always adjust to something else. And the toolkits allow you to kind of do the same, right? They actually install the skills into your .cloud or .agents folder. If you, let's say, run openspec.init, it just basically generates those skills into your project, and then
I
you
don't
can
know.
review those prompts
Okay.
and modify them as you wish.
Okay.
Okay. So the task list is going to be a few sections with phases, and every phase is around 5 to 7 tasks. The first phase is usually the bootstrap. The second phase is where it generates all the major interfaces and classes. The third one is where it implements the logic. The fourth and fifth basically is for testing. One of the workflows that people say they use with agents is doing test-driven development. And I have an unpopular opinion about that. It doesn't really work well. It helps agents to burn the tokens faster, but it doesn't help them to get a better result. And I have experimented so much with that, and I was basically hitting the limits faster than ever. And then I went to our machine learning engineers who do the evals for agents, and they said, well, this workflow doesn't seem to work too well. At least it was so last summer. But I'm still very hesitant in keeping very heuristic test-driven approach with agents. I would rather generate some initial functionality and then try to cover it with tests rather than doing this pure test-driven development.
Okay, I don't have an opinion if you should actually write the tests first or not, because I don't care what the AI does. As a result, I want to have code and I want to have tests, because that's what I wanted to say, that tests I think are really important, especially for the AI, just to verify its own actions, its own code. Because if you let it write its own tests, then it can actually work much longer and find all the bugs or problems it runs into itself. So if it runs all the tests with Maven automatically with every build, then it and you simply tell it to always verify the code it wrote, then it's all fine. Then you don't have to verify each step, because does it itself, and you know that it compiles, you know that at least some tests are running through, or all the tests.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And like what the danger of running the tests for unimplemented functionality. So basically, it will start faking the tests or faking the outputs of the program in order for the
Yeah.
tests to pass. So there
Yeah.
will be like a catch-up game, or at least it was with the agents last year. Now, obviously, the models are improving, and I see them doing testing and rerunning the tests more optimally. So they don't try to rerun everything. They try to run the tests only for the modified functionality,
Yeah.
you know. But so it's getting better. Maybe we'll get to the point where the puristic test-driven development would make sense. But also another reasoning why test-driven development is actually not so efficient for the agents. Test-driven development is more for humans. For us to write testable designed code so that we structure the code in a way so that it could be tested. That was
all
the
right.
implication of writing the unit tests first and then seeing,
Yeah.
aha, I need this function to be public, or I need this interface in order to mock it, and so on. And models don't generate the code like that. They generate code like in piles, or like
Yeah.
and then try to modify it and adjust it somehow based on the input or based on the feedback from the tools.
Yeah.
So it actually takes so long to generate the text, to generate the task list.
But maybe we can switch up the agents once more to Copilot after this. Like I said, I have
Cursor is actually very fast.
I don't have a subscription there, so
I see. Yeah,
no luck. Yeah, but for some reason, Claude is really slow for me. The only guess I have is that I only have the Pro version, and that's just not enough anymore.
Maybe
Don't have Max.
Maybe token maxing is not your thing right now. I don't even know how we could speed it up. Like, we can probably review what else we have for AI in IntelliJ while it's trying to generate the.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
It's,
So it all started with the AI assistant, right? And the chat, and the chat was providing the models. Now, as you can see, we have a chat with agents, and you can just switch the agents, and not so many people would actually go into the chat to just chat with models. It doesn't make sense. Most of the time, you want the agent to automate whatever you want to be implemented in the project, right? So that's that, and we have kind of pivoted into being a platform rather than a provider, with the exception that, well, yes, Junie is there and it's built by us, but we treat it the same way as other agents. The settings, there's so many settings, and I think some of them could be actually removed and deprecated, like rules, for instance. So when Cursor came up with their Cursor rules, people were going crazy configuring their chats with those rules files, but nobody is using that anymore, and everybody is using agents MD or toolkits for or skills, agent skills for that. So I don't think rules actually are getting any use. Prompt library is something that we developed at first for basically providing the instructions into the context based on the files that we are working with, and that is also very old now, so it's outdated and could be deprecated, and it doesn't make sense because we have agent skills. So rules and prompts library, it's still there. We don't have a label that it's deprecated, but if effectively it is, because people don't use it. providers and API keys. This is something we should provide as a platform so that you could select which provider you use, how to authenticate. So there's a lot of work to actually provide that. That's a big functionality. And you can integrate with different providers and even local models as well. But local models, it's an interesting direction, but like to get something out from the local models, you actually need a very good hardware. And even I have, like, let's say I have a MacBook Pro with 36 gigabytes, and 3 years ago it was a very powerful machine. But to get something out of the local model, like on my machine, I actually need much more memory. I can do something with it, but I cannot program efficiently the same way as I do with cloud models. That's just impossible. So it's interesting for experimentation, I would say, currently. MCP tools were all the rage last year. Everybody wanted MCPs, and there's still let's say applicability for that. But agents have their own way of submitting the MCP skills and or MCPs, and for the most part, you can actually replace MCPs with agent skills as well. So in my mind, MCP has applicability within the enterprise environment where I can control who accesses and what parts of, let's say, knowledge base. Let's say I have a knowledge base, which is central, which is not copied to developer machines. And then I'm providing the MCP server so that the agents from the enterprise environment could access that knowledge base and get something out of it, depending on some authorization rules. And then I could manage those authorization rules in a central manner. Totally makes sense. But for most of the developer workflows, agent skills is what we need. And there is a skill manager. We have seen it. We have installed a few things today. Trusted domains is something that I have not seen, actually. You probably have a newer version that I do.
I'm sorry. Trusted domains.
Trusted okay. Yeah, it's probably for... I'm not even sure. Maybe it's when the agent is doing a request to some remote... for some remote, you see, there is a web search that is available for the agents, and maybe that controls that thing as well. So like
the agents, they don't have any, right? No, that's just you just can install a lot of different agents here.
Right. I haven't tried all of them. There's so many, like they are appearing every day. So things are moving fast, and we are developing new things without actually removing the old stuff. But I think we should, and we should clean it up so that it doesn't look like bloated, and people are not confused what to use exactly. Is it still thinking and working? Oh, it really does.
It did a lot. Yeah.
Oh no.
Compacting.
Okay, it was compacting the context because we stayed in the same chat, and it was reusing the context.
Yeah.
So one of the tricks is, if your tasks are isolated, like disconnected one from each other, it actually makes sense to start a new chat. And not to pollute the context.
Let's do that right after this. But I'm not sure if we can get to any resolution today.
Oh yeah, like we can browse my project for faster, like without code generation, but look at the final result that I have in my IDE, because I have the chat history and a working application.
That's good. And I can let that run, and maybe it finishes in time, or maybe it finishes afterwards.
Right. So there was the same process as I have a history here, right? So where I analyzed the initial proposal, and I basically generated the same artifacts that you did. I have
Yep.
them all in the spec folder, and the step where you're currently at is generating the task list. So the
Yes, the tasks.
tasks.yaml is where we have a few, like some meta information, just basically improving the context a little bit. But what we are interested in are those phases, and there are a few phases. So phase 1, phase 3, phase 4, phase 5. And for each phase, there is a list of tasks. And if we look at the task description, technically it's a micro prompt with some meta information like that. This is the prompt.
Okay.
This is the prompt. This is like just the data for tracing what this prompt is connected to and what it should be doing at the end of the prompt. And that's it. And the way I actually work with this task list is basically, let me open the history. There is a skill called execute, and that skill basically starts executing the tasks by phases. So whenever I want to execute the tasks, I tell it to execute tasks for phase 1. This is, let's say, I could actually give it a full list of tasks, right? But I want it to
Anton,
have phases. Yeah.
1 second. Can I, because it finished, can I just tell it to execute everything on my side so we can let that run? Okay. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So basically, why wouldn't I submit the whole task list for execution is that I want to review the intermediate results. And this also keeps the context under control because I don't know how much work it's going to do within one run. So it's kind of logical grouping of work and keeping the context under control. Again, like whatever prompts we use, agent skills, MCPs, sub agents, whatever else, the single most precious resource is the context window, and everything else is just like those tools of getting some text into that context window. That's it. So when it runs the execution, it actually, for the first time, it creates the empty status file where it starts tracking the progress. And while it's working, it's going to tell me what task is it running and what is the status of that. And it was adding
okay, that's nice. That's cool.
modifying the Java version first. Then it was adding some. Okay, it was trying to compile the things. It generated some initial FX JavaFX application code, the launcher, modified the launcher. Then it actually, as it was generating more and more stuff, it was actually adding, modifying the status file and telling me what it actually implemented and how, like just notes about the implementation. And there is a summary of the first phase. In the first phase, as you remember, I said it's just a bootstrap, the skeleton for the project. And there is a final summary of this first step. In fact, I would then tell it to, like, I would open a new chat with the clean context and tell it to, implement something for the next phase. And I probably did not keep the phase 2 chat around. I probably deleted it, or I don't know why it's not there. But here I'm saying that, okay, phase 2 is approved. Let's proceed implementing phase 3. And phase 3 is where the whole meat is. Like it's going to generate. You see, like it's implementing the file MIDI source. So basically, I think it's the parser. Most likely it's the parser. So it's connecting to the MIDI system, getting the sequencer, getting the synthesizer, opening the streams. Then it opens the transmitter, and then there is an implementation to load the file and get the MIDI sequence out of it. And there are those playback actions, what to do, and start reading the file and so on. So basically, utility methods to work with the MIDI sequence, and there is a receiver, and the receiver implements the receiver interface from the MIDI subsystem, and it's just my implementation or whatever the intent was, right? Like we were visualizing something, so the receiver would receive the notes and like the events on note start playing or stop playing. And as you can see, it actually tries parsing the data. So the messages that you receive from the MIDI subsystem are just bytes. So it has to look into one byte and the other byte, and sometimes parse out using some bit shift magic what the command was actually, because the spec for MIDI basically specifies that, okay, this bit, the third bit in that byte specifies the note. Okay, we need
Yeah,
to
okay.
parse that out and say, okay, if that bit is 1, then it's A or C or B sharp or something like that.
Yeah.
So if you are not using any special library for parsing the MIDI messages, then you're parsing it most likely yourself, and you will see some good old C like parsing code. And so after the implementing all that, like there are some summaries, nice visualizations.
That's nice. That's really cool.
We run into, like, as you can see, there were tests. Where is that? So there were tests implemented.
Oh yeah.
Test event draining. So it kind of checks some good things. I have not checked exactly what it was verifying, but it does. At least it makes a setup, and it runs something, and it runs the assertions. That's the important part. So you probably have heard of people saying that, oh, I'm not looking at the code anymore. I think everyone should have their own moment of shame when they don't read the code, submit something, and will be ashamed of what they submitted. So one day you will submit code that will, or testing code that will not do any assertions, and that will be your moment of shame. Right.
That's
So
when you lost control of your life as a coder.
yes, exactly. So once it all was generated, and we reached to the status of phase 5 being implemented, there are some verification notes. So it actually checks if let's see, do I have this file around? Yeah. Let's render all that. So it tells me, okay, acceptance criteria that we had initially in the criteria.md file, it's passed because we have, the test for that. Or it's passed because we have it in the code or something like that.
Yeah.
So
it's not necessarily a test.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a test, but it's somehow like it is some clue about how something was implemented. At least it's a signal for you to check, okay, it seems that AC12 was not a pass, like it's a fail. We have to check what exactly happened there. Even though we were tracking the execution of the agent, it might happen that some deviations are somehow leaking in. So all these acceptance criteria that I anticipated were implemented. And what does the code look like? Like how much code is there? So we have a MIDI listener, MIDI source. And by the way, there is a file parser and MIDI controller that should parse the MIDI inputs. Technically, I should be able to run this application alongside with some DAW, like digital audio workbench, that generates MIDI output, and my application should receive those MIDI signals. I actually tried it; it actually works. It's just
nice. So you have that kind of device.
yes. It's
Nice.
not really a device. So if I open the, let me try opening the.
It's another piece of software that you can connect.
Yeah. So if I open
okay.
the MIDI file, it actually, I have Logic Pro, but I have some others as well. I have a few devices here as well, but I don't have them plugged in. So that MIDI file that I would be playing in my program, I could play it in this external program, and it plays the sound, but it also generates the MIDI signals into the output. In the system output, there is a system bus. So if I run a system bus for MIDI, so if I run my application in that other tab where the live tab is, so not the file, but the live tab, there is a MIDI device selection, and I could see the Logic Pro virtual out. And that's Logic Pro that I just started. So if I select that
okay.
and let the MIDI track run.
Deactivated your audio. Okay.
Okay. So if I run this, so the playback is happening in this external application, but it generates the MIDI signals that are transmitted through the virtual device in my system, and my application is actually parsing that.
Right, it's very loud.
Okay, sorry.
But that's great.
I don't know if I can control this sound right here, but anyways, you get the idea, right? Because MIDI is a protocol, and it's specified as events that are just bytes, and it doesn't matter where they're coming from. Are they coming from a device via your USB port or through some system interface? They always come from system interface, actually, or they would come from a file, like the one that we could load here. I don't know. Let me try. Yeah, so it's not too loud, I guess.
It's still very loud. I don't think you.
It's still
you
okay.
changed that.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, it's all good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So I put this project into my GitHub so people can find it there and play around with that. Maybe I should add the MIDI files as well, so that they could play them out of the box. But the whole process, yes, I didn't spend that much time as you did. Like somehow it was faster for me. But it's very much, let's say, it helps me to develop better demos for and more sophisticated demos. It's not like a controller, a service, a single entity model that I would develop now as a demo. Like all my demos now look as sophisticated standalone applications that you can actually use for something, and even this small application could be used for something, right? So, and there is more code for visualization and the UI. It's not that it's huge, but it's pretty functional.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And it looks really readable. That's one thing I really like about this.
Well, not that the agent generates the perfect code. As we can see, there is some yellow code, but it's just now I think it's something to decide on. Do we want perfectly green code, like there wouldn't be any yellow warnings, or we are fine with that? So this is where it is all going, right? So we actually would provide those tools to the agents to run the inspections for the code quality, but there is always a trade-off. Like you need to spend more cycles and more tokens in order to get this result. So
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing I like about tests, or maybe even static code analysis tools, which you could run as well. So if you give the AI the skill to run like sonar lint or stuff like that, then it could figure out those problems itself. And the nice thing about these tools is it doesn't use any tokens. So to run those tests, it might take a couple of seconds or minutes even, but it still doesn't use any tokens. It's just waiting for the output, and then it will probably use more tokens, of course, to read all that output, but it doesn't burn your tokens all the time, you know?
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So yeah, to get perfect code, yeah, that's another level, I guess. But if we give the AI more and more tools to correct itself, I think that's a good way to go.
This is definitely a trend of this year, developing tools for the agents.
Yeah.
So you can expect a lot of interesting news, experiments, updates on that from us, from other vendors as well.
Yes.
But yeah, maybe in the second half of the year, because we are in June already.
Yeah. Okay. So the AI is now running. It's now using GitHub Copilot. I'll share quickly.
Okay.
And from time to time, some window pops up. But it always closes again because I guess it's still implementing, even though I don't see anything here. But I think we can just try to start it. No, not the tests. No, here we go. So I guess we should see something at least. Damn it.
Okay.
Bad timing.
Bad timing. Yeah, it managed to. Interesting.
Let's
Why?
now if we remove that, maybe it's going to die. But I'm not sure if it's still working. So let's try it. Just remove the logging.
It probably modified something while you were editing it.
Okay, let's remove this. Okay,
No,
okay.
It
Something
started.
is open.
Yeah.
So
Nice. It probably
there is
doesn't.
something.
Okay.
Yeah, probably not working that far. Let's try. So I have one file from Simon the Sorcerer. Do you know that game? Probably not.
No.
Very old, very niche adventure, point-and-click adventure game. Yeah, so it started another instance of that. Yeah, doesn't seem to work.
Okay. Oh, it's not.
Still,
it's not finished yet, but we probably will get there. It's interesting where you will get with this, because you have a different requirement for visualization. Mine was at first I actually specified it as visualize the waveform, and it visualized this sign, and then I thought, I actually want to see the nodes, and then I specified this new requirement that I want the node to fly from left to right.
Yeah,
it's just whatever it is, like it was just creating something, and you have this in mind that it should be like falling from top down. It will be interesting to see. Sometimes, especially with the visual things, especially with this kind of things where things are animating or moving, it's very hard to actually describe what you actually want.
Okay.
So like the direction of something that is falling is fine. But imagine if you have a landscape like in some computer games, not the 2D, but pseudo 3D. How would you describe that? Like
Yeah.
if something should come from the afar, getting
Yes.
closer. So there's definitely terminology, but I'm not very familiar with that, like how to describe this kind of landscapes. It would be very hard.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Okay, but we have to stop this at some point. So I'll let this run through and then share my results.
Perfect.
But for now, I think we have to let it go.
Okay.
Okay, but still, I learned a lot, and we mostly actually discussed your workflow, which is also very interesting. So it's kind of it is spec driven, but like I said before, it's very different from what I expected it to be. If you talk about spec driven,
right? Regarding Junie, as I said, the summary is it's just an agent, and we treat it equal to other agents. IntelliJ itself is rather a platform where we integrate all other agents and we try to supply the tools from the platform with the skills, with all this infrastructure, also with managing the subscriptions, logins, and so on. And of course, there are more capabilities like autocompletes, but this is for someone who is still writing code by hand. There are still people doing that, of course, and I think
I do that usually.
It's actually the majority.
Yeah.
It's us who are talking on the social networks. Hey, I'm not looking at the source code anymore. But actually, real developers still writing code, and they do need more tools for their work. So we are still developing that as well.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I'm one of the developers, so in my day-to-day job, I still write code by hand, because especially in Germany, it's a lot of times it's very difficult to find the right provider or vendor for models that actually listen to the what's this called in English, the DSGVO. So the data security laws in Germany, where you basically should not share data with anybody outside of Germany, or at least outside of Europe. Yeah,
sure.
But okay, Anton, thank you very much for joining me, for helping me with IntelliJ. It was really nice for me. Yeah, and thank all the viewers. We had a couple today. That's wonderful. I hope you learned something at least. We did not finish the project, but like I said, I'll share the repository and I'll share the finished product as well. All right, Anton, do you have any last words for today?
No last words, but you can follow me on Twitter. There is my Twitter handle right there. And my DMs are open, so you can always reach out to me asking questions. That's my job.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you again, and see you maybe at a conference or another time.
Sure. See you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.